for him. And I'd ask you to put your hands together and let's wish each and every driver a safe and successful 25-lap journey, an impressive sight under lights as the drivers make their way up the home straightaway, ready for the sprint car main event.
Okay, welcome along to Parramatta City Raceway. We're getting ready now for the main event, sprint cars. Wayne Gardner on pole position in car number 99. Brett Loadsman on the outside, and your back markers Gary Rush, Brooke Tatnall and Skip Jackson. Time to get the pedal to the metal. Here we go. Gardner leads them across the line, dips down into the bottom corner, goes in there about mid-track and gets it a little sideways. Trevor Shields goes off back behind them and is fighting his way back onto the track. Almost got Darvel in the thick of things. Gardner drops back one spot, and Robbie Farr's not going to waste any time. He gets down the inside of him halfway down the straight. Gardner goes wide that time. That left Gary Rush out of room, and he hangs Rush out to dry. Now Johnny Shaw comes back on the inside. Skip Jackson and Brooke Tatnall. Tatnall down on the inside of Scott Hurrigan. They get their way through, and Stephen Gall is punching down the inside, but we've got the amber lights on already because Chris Orr has gone into the bottom turn and got it around sideways, and he will go to the rear of the field.
Be pretty frantic. I think Gary Rush will want to dispatch Wayne Gardner in the opening corner if he can.
I bet you Gary Rush is round the outside of Wayne Gardner and on the tail of Peter Kraft in one lap.
As Mike was saying, let's hope Wayne Gardner's been told about the start in the back straightaway. Brett Loadsman about to stick on the pace. There he goes. Gary Rush goes as well as they come to the home straightaway the first time. The feature race resumes with 24 laps to go, and it's Gary Rush fielding. Oh, look at this. John Shaw gets caught up. In goes Scott Hurrigan.
Oh, there's 96 going through with his wing in disarray.
Hurrigan is the driver, I believe, upside down.
Well, he's quite okay. Wayne Gardner just throws his hands up and says, what the hell's all this about? I was just driving and you've jumped up on the wheels and... It looks like the Hurrigan car coming back onto four wheels. Actually, Hurrigan went through on the inside, I think, and clipped Wayne Gardner's inside front, and then just dribbled over onto its side. Beneath, main event winner at Newcastle last weekend. Ready for the restart, and Brett Loadsman gets honking as they head down into the top turn. Rushy's going to try and get them all here on the outside. Gawley goes the inside, but actually will almost lose a spot. Into the bottom turn, Loadsman tries to turn it halfway through the corner. It's a dust bowl to the outside, and there's not much down on the inside, as Max Dumsley pointed out. But Rushy, right around the field as he comes down the front straightaway, zeroing in here. Now decides whether he'll stick to the low side of Robert Farr. Farr's car sits there and buzzes wheels, and Stephen Gall gets up on the inside of Brett Loadsman as they come through the back straightaway. Race leader is Peter Kraft, but we've had one go to Gowings. That was Stephen Horn. And you can see pavement actually almost in turn number one. You can see that black sheen across the racetrack. It's only now starting to develop.
Oh, two wheels up in the air. Kraft gets onto it, had to back off a little bit. Here comes Rush on the outside. He will be in second as they cross the line, and Brooke Tatnall will be in fifth, just passing Stephen Gall as they go to the first corner. To the back straightaway, and Rush is putting in the big move. He wants to get in front now. Kraft is in front of him, all spins in the top turn. He's out of harm's way. They're not going to have another light situation. No, they let the race run. Gary Rush is your race leader. Kraft almost takes the tail of the two car as he goes through turn one. Two cars going backwards. A third joins in. Into the wall goes, it looks like Justin Manif. I hope it wasn't Wayne. No, it was Justin Manif. And we're having an incident-filled main event tonight.
That'll probably who that comes out in front, I would say.
Yeah. Now it all depends if Kraft, he's got them stacked up behind the mill, and he'll make sure they're all stacked up. So that's exactly what he does. Rushy makes a big run here on Robert Farr as they come out of the turn. Now Rushy's forced to go inside into the bottom corner. That's where he should be too. Robert Farr and Rush just tap wheels as they move on to the back straightaway. Brooke comes out of that running in fourth spot, and Bobby Tunks up on the inside of Darvel takes fifth. That's about the order. They're all working the high side through turns 3 and 4, and it's straight to the pole in turn number 1.
Yeah, Brooke's having a little trouble keeping it down there on 1 and 2 because I don't think he's got enough quite enough tyre stagger on it, and it seems to be running his car mid-track coming off, which really doesn't allow you to hang in there.
Oops, a days. It pushed the front end or something on Crafty's car, so he had to turn right and go the other side of Loadsman. At that time, Rushy went through to take the lead, but now he's going to have to go back behind him again.
Yep.
and very sedate pace down here. Rushy's getting ready for the big loop around the outside, and Brooks trying to get under Robert Farr, which he half does coming off the corner, so that'll put him in good shape for the next turn. They barrel into turn number 1. John Shaw has gone very, very wide indeed. Didn't lose too much ground to Bobby Tunks, and Skip Jackson has probably been the big mover from the back of the field. Down the front straightaway, Kraft, who drives the slick track pretty well. Old Grizzly doing a fair job there on the inside. Would it be to a stage now if you got that much horsepower and you can't get it down, Max, and you could buzz it?
It sure would be. You've got to be very gentle on the throttle coming off. Crafty's really doing well because he's only got a small engine in tonight, they were telling me earlier, and plus he's got a car that's very hooked up, and it seems to be good for him right now.
Look at Skip Jackson on the outside. He's made a couple of moves. He looks good for a while, and then he drops back 3.
Yeah, he got hung up there a little bit just then.
Okay, Rushy now just setting him up for an inside pass. If he can get him on the inside out of here, but actually Kraft is very quick through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, he seems to be able to keep it down there really well and comes off just in the right place.
He has his wheels here.
Whoop.
And we've had them go into the bottom corner. Graham Donning, I think it was, got all out of shape. There's Rushy there, banging away down the inside, but
I think Crafty's in trouble now.
Yes, he is, unless Kraft can get through here and he frightens Rush out of it.
Yep.
And he did that well, make no mistake about that. Now to the outside. This is where he could get hung out to dry.
Yeah, I think so. No, he's got it again.
Crafty's got enough, and look at Brooke Tatnell trying to get a slice of the action. Now Rush has got to get Kraft set up on the inside into the next turn. Now Kraft hangs low coming down the front straightaway.
He's doing a super job, but I'd say right now he's starting to get tired. Takes him about that long.
A little bit of pressure, you believe?
Yeah.
Now Rushy might... The track had a little line round it there before. Now it doesn't. Down the front straightaway, Gary just eases down a little bit. There's nothing out there really to play with, and you'll see Kraft may get out of the turn. That's about the same gap, so there was nothing ventured, nothing gained there. But Kraft won't know where Rush is coming from next. He'll be outside of him, he'll be inside of him, he'll be listening to the engine one side of him, and then when they come out of the corner, it might be somewhere else. Brooke Tatnell, I don't think has got enough to go on with this.
Oh, if Gary keeps playing on the outside there, I think he'll get a surprise in a minute. Like, well, they're both up there playing. Brooks sneaking up right there.
Now the frustration, of course, is for some of them, rather than peg away on the inside and just stay there, some of them become a little adventurous and then go wobbling around the outside. Now, here's Wayne Gardner about to be lapped by Peter Kraft.
Look out. Crafty's taking a wide one.
A very wide one, and that's allowed Rushy up the inside, but Kraft tries to shut the option off and get down the inside.
Straight up there, Crafty.
And look at Brooke Tatnell on the outside. Here comes Tatnell on the outside of Rush.
Whoa.
Not enough room, or is there? He hauls it in there.
Yep.
Can he hang on to the outside groove? They're side by side, and Rush is thinking, what the hell's going on here? I should be able to pass this guy, and here comes Anthony Orr again. Crafty down the inside of him. Now it's Gary moving up. I think Gary get a little more businesslike about it from here. He knows Tatnell's behind him.
Trouble is, there's not a great deal of other places to run except for where Crafty is, and he seems to be really quick off the turns.
They come down to another lap car. That's Trevor Shields. And Crafty just plying his trade so beautifully here tonight. The car, as Max said, set up perfectly. Gee, he's got in here just a touch. Oh, no, he's riding the rim as he comes off once again back to the inside.
Gary and Brooke are probably getting pretty frustrated right now.
Yep. He really needed a bit of traffic. The traffic paid off well last time for him. Come around the top bend. Halfway down the front straightaway, Darville goes to the inside, but Crafty's able just to steer in there and dab the brakes and get out of there. Now he's got 6 laps to go and probably starting to feel the pressure a bit more. They come down the front straightaway. Rushy going to have a bit of a lurch here down the outside. Has he got enough to go on with it? Kraft gets through the turn, but Rush will be faster out of the turn. No, he's not. And they're coming up. They've got a lap to put on Bobby Tunk shortly with 5 laps to go. They'll have 4 laps this time. You're watching a guy drive to the track conditions. That's Peter Kraft, and Rushy is casting it out and around. He might pull off one of these shortly. As they come down the back straight, a little whoops down the inside for Peter Kraft. Just backs it off a little bit, gets the car straight now.
Doing a super job. Super job.
He really has done a fabulous job.
He just seems to be able to turn the car, stick it on the bottom, and then drive it off wherever he wants. If you watch down here in 3 and 4, whereas Gary and Brooke are running off on the high line and getting a good shot off there, Peter will see the white flag and say, well, I won't do anything too much this lap, and Gary will go balls out and probably pull it off. It'll be an interesting 4-lap sprint. Where'd the field go?
Yes. Now, these are the ones that are still intact. Now, Crafty says, right, this will do me. Now, look at Robert Farr around the outside again of Brooke Tatnall.
Whoa.
And Gary loses the start badly there as Crafty gets it into the bottom corner. Brooke's going to start a big, high, wide and handsome thing. Picks up the front wheel, but Kraft actually... Not Kraft, I meant Farr passes him. Look at Peter Kraft. He's absolutely nowhere near the horsepower of anyone else, but it's all down on the racetrack and going well. Into the bottom turn, 3 laps, 2 laps the next time round. Brooke still working the high line, but is going backwards, and Rushy is easing off the pace.
Just streaking away. He's doing a super job. Look at him just go.
Okay, 2 laps to go as they sweep into the bottom corner. Gary Rush using the high line this time, and John Shaw is going to bring the flag out with a spin in the bottom turn. Somehow that doesn't seem fair, I guess, because Peter Kraft, I guess you could say, is almost bound for victory here tonight. And I think Gary might find himself under a bit of pressure from Robert Farr.
Yeah, young Robert, he's a pretty good little pedalist when it comes to some of these slick tracks. He certainly doesn't ever back off, that's for sure.
And the good thing is that there's no way Peter Kraft has been... This will probably be the second time this season that Gary Rush has run out of gas.
I had a guy that crewed for Doug Wolfgang say to me once, he said, you know, I've never ran out of fuel with too much, lost a race for having too much fuel, but he says...
lost some without enough.
Yeah, he says, never hurts to put just a little bit too much in.
Well, they're going to try and fire it again, but Gary, of course, led a main event here into the last lap of a race, and actually the thing coughed on the back straightaway, and he lost the main event. He finished 3rd.
Wonder if they let him take fuel on under a yellow.
I don't think he'd have enough time. So Gary Rush is out of gas. That's what we presume.
Sure looks that way.
But he was shaking the car around, trying to get whatever was left in the tank. So, Peter Kraft, Robert Farr has driven Peter chance for 5th in this.
The attrition rate's not been good, 19 down to 5.
Now, can the youngster, Robert Farr, work over the veteran Peter Kraft? They've got 2 laps to go, and now Brooke Tatnall works away on the inside of Robert Farr.
I don't think anyone's got a chance the way the Crafty's car's going. Just see it come off turn 4, the way the car just straightens up and goes. Like most cars, the tail hangs and it doesn't take off. Just watch it when it comes off here. It just straightens and then rockets.
Well, there's a guy who's been trying to win a main event here for a while. Peter Kraft takes the white flag.
He's going to do it in flying colours.
Yes, he's driven this brilliantly. The other 2 are still battling for 2nd and 3rd, halfway down the back straight away. He's a regular. He's driven with his hand. He turned 40 this week. Let's hear it for Peter Kraft. He wins the main. Common sense wins tonight. 2nd spot goes to Robert Farr. Very good drive to Robert Farr. And Brooke Tatnall, who was always there and prepared to try something different. Bobby Tunks finishes in 4th, and Craig Darver will say, I finished 5th. Here's Mellon.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like you to welcome and put your hands together for the sponsor of tonight's event, and a guy and a company who do a hell of a lot for PCR, Mr. Don Steen from Steen's Plant Hire. Brooke, as I said, it did take a long time to get on the road, but once we got on the road, there was a lot of action.
Oh, it did take a long time. I looked up the board after about 15 minutes and I thought 22 laps to go. I thought that can't be right. Must have done 22 laps. But 3rd place, well, we'll take anything these days as long as we get to the finish line. The boys have been putting a lot of hours into the car and getting no rewards for it. I just hope our luck's about to change. Even though it is at the wrong end of the season, as long as we can try and pull Skip in and pass him again. But I'd like to thank Don Steen Excavations for their support. I'd like to thank the best oil company in the world, and that's Shell. And without them, we wouldn't be able to be here. They've been a long-time supporter of Tatnall Racing, and they're still supporting us. I'd like to thank all the guys on the crew, and Dad and all you great people for coming out and watching.
Brooke Tatnall, ladies and gentlemen, 3rd place in tonight's main event. Also, apart from trophies, Don and Dave Steen are handing out gift vouchers to first, second and third. We'll give Don our second place trophy. And the guy came from the clouds. Ladies and gentlemen, they call him Bass Robbie Farr. Bass, congratulations, mate. I said you came from the clouds with about 5 laps remaining. It was either going to be Crafty, Rushy or Brooke, and all of a sudden you've appeared from nowhere.
Yeah, we were there early. We got there early pretty quick, and then we had a bit of a lapse mid-race and a bit of luck near the end, and it all come off good.
Tell you what, second place is a lot more luck than you've been having in previous weeks.
Yeah, we haven't had the best of seasons, but we haven't ran here all that much this season, so it's good to get a good place in here.
And certainly in such a prestigious event, second, well, it's not too far off first because Crafty did drive one heck of a race.
Yeah, Pete drove a really good race and he deserved it more than anyone. And I'd just like to thank Don Steen Plant Hire and my own sponsors, KBT and Service Powder Coating. Thanks.
Robbie Farr, ladies and gentlemen. And first place in tonight's Steen's Plant Hire Sprint Car 25-lap main event. He was 40 yesterday, Mr. Peter Kraft. Don, I'm quite sure you'll have a few words for Peter anyway.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Peter and all those that were in the race tonight, it was been a wonderful evening right through. And I congratulate Peter on being the winner tonight for the Don Steen Trophy, the main event. It's been a marvellous thing. While I'm here, I'd like to say what the Parramatta City Raceway means to the community, the local community around Parramatta. The management of the Parramatta City Raceway, I believe, does a wonderful job in presenting this thing for you, the family, that can come here and witness a marvellous lot of entertainment. That's why Don Steen Plant Hire, and you've heard our name over the radio and television this last week, we contribute a little bit, but not as much as these people do. They run the thing, they manage it, they take all the risks, and that's why Don Steen Plant Hire have decided to go in with these people and do the little bit we can. It's only a little bit, believe me, compared with what these other people do. And it's all for the community of the Parramatta district and others that travel so far for family events. And that's what this life's all about, and we should encourage. And I'd like to congratulate the Parramatta City Raceway for what they're doing, and keep it up. We'll be with you. Thanks, Andy.
Don, congratulations. Crafty over here. Happy birthday, sunshine, and what a way to celebrate.
Yeah, it's not a bad birthday present, I guess. I'd just like to thank Don Steen for the lovely trophy and promotion of the Speedway tonight. The Parramatta City Raceway for giving us a great track. And the crowd. The crowd's unbelievable tonight. Without you people, we wouldn't be able to race. So thank you all for coming. Scott McNaughton for selling me a McCreary tonight and said this is the tyre that'll win the feature race, and I laughed at him, so I've got to go down and thank him. So Scott McNaughton tyres. Billy Roberts, who worked very hard on the car today. My brother Richard, and Kraft Differentials. Thank you.
Peter Kraft, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of tonight's Sprint Car main event.
What?